everyone has the vision of bringing mass adoption of Bitcoin to Boston. We really do. And then throughout New England. So very fortunate to have you guys. You know, honestly, the Bitcoin community, because especially me and my health and the psychological challenges I face, especially guys like Greg, and I'm not trying to embarrass you or whatever, but this Bitcoin community has been so great, and all you guys too, the people that I interact with. It's, I think most people feel that way, but it's just unbelievable. Very meaningful to me. It's really saved my life. I know Greg's talked about how important it is, and I feel the same way, man. I had to close my business before COVID, and I was kind of like, shit, what am I going to do now? And so, doing this. And so thank you guys for letting us all do this.
Well done. All I wanted to say is, well, first of all, thanks for having me, guys. This is a pleasure to meet all of you, and it takes a while to filter through. You know, I met guys that I've seen, you know, first time, but then you get familiar with the faces and everything, so it's so fun to be down here. But Boston really has a chance, or New England has a chance to, in my opinion, be one of the most influential Bitcoin communities. For a number of reasons. I was talking before, the education system is top-notch, the entrepreneurship in the Boston area. Boston hates New York, and Bitcoin hates fiat, and Boston is Bitcoin, and New York is fiat. It's fucking perfect. Like you guys can't understand how this is lining up perfectly, right? So I'm just happy to be here. I've always had a soft spot for Boston as a great community, and thanks for inviting me. I sincerely mean that. And then let me just say one thing. I don't mean to embarrass Jason, but I said this a little bit. A year and a half ago, I had the chance to sit down, so 2 summers ago, Peter McCormick was in town, and he invited Jason and myself to go for dinner. And I literally came back to Maine, where my family was vacationing, and I said to my wife, I think I just met someone who's smarter than Michael Saylor. And I'm not trying to say that to embarrass Jason, but I like to call facts out as facts are. It doesn't matter whether the two of them are both brilliant. Jason is taking a message to the people that are going to save my kids. And that's the only way I look at stuff, is we are very dangerously close to some knucklehead pushing a button, and that will destroy the world that my kids have you know, not had the chance to live in. So I'm going to do everything I can to support Jason's efforts. I'm so happy you came, my friend. We all go through cycles. Like, Twitter is a fucking jungle. It's like, I thought trading floors were bad. Well, Twitter is like 70 times worse than the worst trading floor you've ever worked on. But it's life, and the fact that you don't, you know, people take time off, but they don't back down, they come back. And why? It's because it's passion, right? It's because you know you're fighting for the right thing. So I'm here. I'm gonna die on this hill. It's almost killed me a couple of times. I'm not alone, right? And this is not easy. So we always have to just, you know, understand it's a marathon, not a sprint. I think we're proving that. You know, this bear market, I can't say it's been fun, but if this doesn't kill us, then nothing will. And that should give us strength to go to the next level. So I look forward to getting to know all of you guys better. My friends that I meet in Boston, but, you know, all over the Bitcoin community in the world. I'm telling you, this is a group of people that are singularly focused. The cultural, it spans race, color, or religion. It's just amazing, and that's what a great unifier does. So let's keep the ball rolling, right, guys? I mean, and ladies. Well, I'll do whatever I can to help that.
Can you speak to what Jeff said, like his feeling of meeting a lot of this crew for the first time 7 months ago?
Okay.
And then just and immediately creating bonds and feeling like you were on the same page.
Right.
You've been around the world. Like, can you speak to that same? How has that affected you? And you've been in business. You've had a lot of relationships over 4 years. What is Bitcoin and that community? How is that different for you?
Okay. Well, let's take it a level higher to begin with. I pretty open about my struggles. I was suicidal. Suicidal not because I felt that I hadn't succeeded to a point. I was suicidal because I was in a system that was designed for me to benefit at the expense of others. And I realized that system is uniquely unfair to most people. I probably didn't know it at the time. You know, you don't know why you're feeling horrible. But let's make sure that everybody at this table is honest with themselves, that human emotion exists because that's how we've survived to get to the top of the food chain, right? Anxiety, fight or flight. So these are things that everyone wrestles with. If you're wrestling with this stuff, it's natural. But it becomes even harder when you're fighting for something you believe in that most of the world doesn't. So it's nice to get surrounded by people that have a focus like you guys do, but we also have to realize that we are still an extreme minority. And we can't get, just the other day, I was out for dinner with one of my buddies who owns 5 McDonald's restaurants in Canada. And I finally got him to buy Bitcoin, not because I told him to buy it. He runs a company called 11 Companies, and his number in sports was 11 because that's his lucky number. And I circled, and I'm not kidding, I could show it because I have it in my photo album, when Bitcoin was $11,111.11. Somehow I snapped that picture and I took it and I said, Victor, if you don't buy Bitcoin right now, you're a fucking loser, okay? It's 11 companies right there. Did he buy it? No. He bought it when it was 70,000, of course, okay? So now, the other night, we're out at dinner and he's like, my nickname's Boss. So Boss, how's that fucking Bitcoin thing going? You know, it's 17,000, what a piece of shit, because he bought it at 70, right? And I looked at him and I go, Vic, it's still above the price I told you to buy it at. And then I bit my tongue because I was gonna say, and I'm not feeding fucking saturated fat shit to people all over the world to make my money. And I didn't say that. I didn't because he's one of my best friends, okay? But you think it in your mind, and you're like, okay, dude, you're doing fucking amazing, right? Each McDonald's restaurant's worth probably $3 million, so the guy's worth at least $15 million, and he's probably lost, I don't know, $50,000 on Bitcoin, and all of a sudden that's the only thing he can focus on. And I bite my tongue. So this is what we have to do, because you don't want to lose relationships with your best friends, right? You can't lose relationships with your best friends. You can lose relationships with your enemies, but you got to realize they sap your blood too. Like we were just talking about Stony Britson or Stoney's Ghost or this guy on Twitter, which they still play a big game on the public front. On the private front, they are human too. So I'm not sure if that answers your question, but man, oh man, like when you're feeling down, you're not the only guy. You take a step back, you try and realize that it's a marathon, not a sprint. It's not always, we're not going to win every single game, but it's great. Like this already has reinvigorated me to be here tonight with a group of like-minded people that we want to change the world, right? And so
that's what I was getting at. Is just the new people that you've met over the last 3 years, however long you've sort of been publicly out there or whatever. I don't know. Maybe that's even
no, not quite even.
And
that
long. Like you meet Larry, and then you meet, you just everywhere you go, like El Salvador or the wherever you were in
Bulgaria, maybe. Or
no, in the island there, Madeira.
That
you
was
meet some people there. I mean, do you?
Look,
when you meet Bitcoin,
let's not make it about me. But at the end of the day, all I will say is, everybody at this table, we share a similar vision, and I'm still a bull on humanity, but the truth is most of the world are takers, okay? That's just the way it is. I will go almost without exception around this table and probably say giver, 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 which means statistically we really aren't representative of most of the people out there, because most of the people are takers. I always say 85% of the world are takers. Maybe you divide it like, okay, 50% are takers, 35% are on the fence, and really only 15% are givers. Well, This is almost 15% right here, uniquely. And then I always summarize by saying, and on Wall Street, it's 99 to 1. Okay, and that's the worst part because that's where all the money is controlled. So, guys, if you can't be honest with yourself about the challenges, that's going to cause you to, you know, feel some downtime or. Albeit, you know, I'm struggling right now. The power business that I'm involved in has hit some rough. A Bitcoin miner has defaulted to us, and so, you know, as much as I believe in the business, man, it's squeezing me a new testicle. So it's like it's you know it's tough, right?
Yeah.
You want to be the good guy, but the reality is, if they're not paying their bills, it's like, you know, you got 3 kids to feed too. So.
Yeah.
Not sure if that answers your question, but again, 60 years of, and everyone's the same, doesn't matter how old you are, all you got to do is not get too high on the highs, you can't get too low on the lows. Did you see that tweet by that kid, Will Clement, where he basically,
the girlfriend?
he broke up with his girl. Now, he
the
since deleted it.
Oh, I
He
did see that.
he did send it out. He goes, something, fam, I'm feeling
That was
down.
a funky tweet.
Okay, that was the tweet of a guy in distress.
Right.
He since deleted it. He did get himself to the gym to you know, but I actually sent him a personal DM and said, look, man, here's my cell. You call me anytime. I say that to any of you guys, okay? Having been to the point where you don't want to live anymore, that is fucking horrible. And everybody is susceptible to it. I'm not making this a situation about emotional, but all I'm saying is try. Focus on the long term. We are making progress. Like, it's a sawtooth though, right? Like, but generally we're going from the bottom left to the top right. And please, I got to stop talking, but at this point,
It's like you're on a stasis.
well, no, I love you guys because I love you guys for being here, for sharing the vision, for having the guts to do this, Jeff. It takes a lot of guts, and you know what?
Well, some people might call it stupidity, but you call it guts,
Well,
which is good.
What if you don't? If you're not prepared to, what's that expression? If you're not prepared to die for something you believe in, then why live for something you don't believe in, or something like that, right? Now, I don't want to get too extreme because hopefully we're not going to be fighting wars over this, but. Let's change it to Jason.
Yeah.
Jason's the man of the hour. He really is. I met a young man who is helping to change the world. So, thanks for honestly having me. And
Yeah,
it
absolutely.
really
Good
is.
to have you here.
is.
Good to have you here. Yeah, so you can talk a little bit, but I mean, I would follow that by saying, you know, I ran a business for 20 years, started it with 3 partners, and we grew it to 45 people, multiple offices, and you hire people, and you meet new people, and you meet clients, and you build relationships. I mean, this is 20 years, so I asked you the question, now I'm answering it for myself, but like, I've never met and built relationships this fast with people that I would want to work with, I would want to hire, I would want to build great things with, you know, and go to work and go to war every day, like I've met in Bitcoin. And John is a former business partner of mine in the fiat world, and we had a bond. We connected right away in real estate, but it was just a personal thing. You know, we see the world the same way, and we immediately wanted to spend every day, you know, together working and building a business. But this is, I'm just saying, giving you my wisdom, you know, because I have been there. This is different. This feels different to me. This feels like we're sitting at a table and we're having a business meeting with like everybody that I'd want in my company. And so it's just, that's wild, you know, that's to me incredible. And it doesn't speak to anything having to do with mass adoption and where we want to go with that or what we're doing. It's just about this ecosystem, about what Bitcoin does to your heart. And to me, that's a microcosm of what it can do to the world. So we're sitting at the table, but you know, hopefully we can just take this same vibe and it spreads around the world. So that's what it means to me. So
You guys want to go around the table and just say a couple of, you know, just go clockwise? Because I'd like to learn more about each and every one of you guys. I mean, I've heard the story a few times, but it takes a few things to But are you cool with that, David?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm David Foley, and work with Larry Lepard at Equity Management Associates, and partnering with Greg and James Lavish, Swan Bitcoin, and Mark Moss and Larry on a new thing called a Bitcoin Opportunity Fund, which will be a value investment firm, basically a hybrid hedge fund / venture fund, Bitcoin only, and we're trying to basically find the value that's out there right now here on the bottom, whether it's in the public space with the hedge fund side of it, or kind of the private space as we continue to build out the Lightning Network and things like that. You know, I echo everything that these guys have said. I think that I'm amazed at, you know, the giving that goes on, as Greg was saying. There's so few takers. I've learned so much through, you know, listening to guys like Greg on or Sailor or Jason, and following on Twitter, right? Hearing all sorts of things to get up the curve, right? And Lynn Alden, and I could go on and on, but just so much giving that goes on. And I think Larry and I have come at this from a sound money perspective, right? As gold and silver guys. But I think Paul Tudor Jones has it right. Gold, silver will be fast horse races, but the fastest horse race will be Bitcoin. The fastest horse in the race, right, will be Bitcoin. And so, you know, I think what's gone on in the world, and I've got questions for Jason because I love getting downloaded from him, but I think we're big believers in, you know, this is a great ecosystem and going to grow massively over the next decade plus.
I'll just say one more quick thing. Greg's motto is for the kids, and it's legendary because that's exactly. I mean, I'm 59. I haven't, you know, I had a successful career, so I don't really have to work. And if I didn't have kids, it's like, you know, what would I be doing in my life? So Connor, congratulations with and so yeah, to me it's for the kids. I'm not doing it for anybody else, but for the kids, because as I said in the last video, you know, to me, and I might be, this might be hyperbole to some, but to me it's either Bitcoin or slavery. So I choose Bitcoin, and that's where I'm fighting for my kids. And I'll die on this hill too. So I literally will die on this, so I don't care.
And this is what I now remember. So I met Connor with you at the last Bitcoin meetup. Connor's your son, obviously.
Oh no, Charlie. Remember, he's coming tomorrow night.
Okay, I apologize. Okay, so not son.
Alec, come on in.
Okay. Hey, how are you? I'm Greg.
Alec.
Hey, nice to meet you. Hey, Alec. Nice to see you.
Greg. Hey, Greg. Hey, Greg.
We'll do this after. We'll do this after.
Alex is from Westchester, New York.
Oh, nice.
We met.
We tweet all the time.
Yeah.
Okay. Absolutely.
Yeah.
You got the shirt.
Right.
Sure.
He's the one up here.
The foundation team parked out in the parking lot.
That's me. Yeah.
Right there.
Car.
He said, I want to start a meetup, a Bitcoin meetup.
So I can get commercial parking for free.
There are all shitcoiners around.
Okay, yeah. That's like Toronto. Toronto's the same thing. It's sick. So, I haven't done one Bitcoin conference in Toronto yet. And they're all shitcoin conferences versus, you know, down here you have to come to get the real Bitcoin. Sorry.
So I spent 5 days in Toronto. I love Toronto. So I'm disappointed to hear
It'll come.
There's shitcoders in Toronto.
Yeah, it'll come.
But anyway, so I said, Alec, you want to start a meetup, man? Just get together with a friend, get to a bar, and tweet it on. If no one's got no followers, who cares? Just put it on social media, and it will build. It's the old field of dreams, right? Build it and they will come. So hopefully we'll motivate Alec to get a meetup out in Westchester.
Well, I think, who's our guy? George Noble lives in Westchester.
Oh, does he?
Do you talk to George at all?
No.
I owe him a dinner, and I actually invited him to
don't know
go.
George.
So George hates Bitcoin only because he hates Tether, and he thinks Tether needs to explode before he should buy Bitcoin. But we had a bet, and I lost the bet, and I owe him a dinner, steak dinner. And it was payable last Christmas, but it's been a year now. Because it wasn't payable this Christmas, it was actually payable last Christmas, you know, or, you know, 13 months ago. And I go, I'm finally in Boston. Can you go out for lunch on Friday? And Larry hates him. Hey, Larry and George Noble. And I still owe the guy money and whatever. He goes, I'd love to, but I'm in Westchester. And I'm like, I thought you lived in Boston. And he did. He lived here for 35 years before we got separated. Anyway, sort of good guy, depending on who you believe. At the end of the day, though, I want to pay my bet, and I was like, okay, I don't actually have to go out with him on the Friday at lunch, but
Let's keep going around. So
sure,
we
yeah,
got
yeah.
through it, so then we-
Jason.
Jason, quick word.
Yeah, when I first started this, my main concern was no one would care, and no one would read it or listen to me, and so this whole journey has just been incredibly rewarding. I wouldn't trade every fight online for anything, because if this plays out the way that we think it's going to play out, then we're going to look back on this and cherish every single struggle. These are what makes life worth living, in my opinion. And so, if it were easy, if it weren't, if it were simple, then it'd be boring. It wouldn't be worthwhile. This could be a revolution. This could be a no kidding revolutionary era, and then we're gonna look back and think about these meetings and the people that we met and be like, yeah, I was in the arena. I was right there in the thick of it, and it's just such an honor to be in the arena with y'all guys.
Attaboy, Jason. Well said, my friend.
Yes.
John Frisch, nice to see all you guys. Nice to meet some of you for the first time. Yeah, like this is sick. This is like pinch me, like this is surreal. Foss is my mentor. We've known each other for 13 years. He's like my best friend. We talk all the time. We were sitting in conference rooms in 2017, supposed to be doing deals, just talking about Bitcoin for hours, and it was just like, yeah, the most amazing thing ever. And just thank you to Jason and Greg, for you guys, like just the brain power that you bring, and and your kind of like, courage to just like speak in front of everybody on something that most people don't know what this is, or we even like our closest relationships think that we're crazy a lot of the times. And so having you guys stick your necks out and just as smart as you are, it's just like I just got immense gratitude for what you guys do. I was in the real estate business for a decade plus. I'm still in it. My wife and I run a small multifamily portfolio up and around the North Shore, and my business partner to the left, Brendan, and I are starting a Bitcoin centric investment firm. Our first product's going to be a fund of funds where we're going to take positions in Bitcoin VCs, because we think that the biggest companies over the next decade are going to be built on the bedrock that is Bitcoin versus the sand that's everything else. And we want to get exposure to the best entrepreneurs building in the space. They're going to be around here for decades to come. So that's what we're doing. It's called Cantilever, and again, great to see everybody. Excited to eat some steak.
Awesome.
Hey guys, Brendan, Quinn, nice to meet you all. This community just never ceases to amaze in terms of just like the amount of engagement and just helpfulness, and how just we're all working for Bitcoin in our varying ways. As John mentioned, John and I are business partners. We're starting Cantilever Advisors, but I'm 15 years recovering fiat miner. I was a commercial banker. I worked for a bank focused on high-tech companies called Silicon Valley Bank. I was there 15 years. Had an amazing time there. Some of my best relationships were there. Multiple groomsmen in my wedding were from there. I also met the first person who introduced me to Bitcoin through there, who was one of my groomsmen, and so it was a great run. I had an opportunity to build out a unique investment business under the Silicon Valley Bank umbrella called the strategic capital business, which is kind of like a mix of credit investing and venture capital investing. Found and ended up making an investment in the crypto space in 2017, and the rest was history. And so I ended up leaving in July of 2021. I was just burnt out. Like I'm resonating with a lot of what everyone's saying. It's like you feel like something's off, and you can't put your finger on it, but you're getting these bonuses and you're getting paid, and you're just like, why? So I was like, fuck it, I'm quitting. So I quit. I did a 6-month sabbatical. I was already well down the Bitcoin rabbit hole, but I really tripled down on that experience during that time, like 8 hours a day in the woods listening to podcasts with people like Jason and Foss. I mean, just like, yeah, I mean, I probably listened to Jason and Breedlove's series 3 times already, right? I don't know how many that equates to, but you get my point. So then, yeah, just kind of came out of this sabbatical mode and was like, I want to go build something again, and I want to do it for Bitcoin. And so highest best use of my skill set is what is now becoming Cantilever Advisor. So fired up to be here, just grateful for each and every one of you and all the work that you do to really, support Bitcoin, which is leading towards a world that is, with more self-sovereignty, more personal responsibility, and more opportunity equality globally. Not outcome equality, opportunity equality. Everyone's starting from at least closer point on the starting line. So that's why I'm here.
Brandon Hitchings. I've been coming to a lot of these meetups since the summer. Met Greg and Jeff and the guys, and I've never really met a bunch of people who are so part of the same mission. And one of the things that I remember growing up with is going to echo what Jason said about people not understanding. And Bitcoin's the ultimate test, in my opinion, about explaining something that's so foreign to the way the world works that getting that across to someone is completely crazy. And I've barely gotten to know Greg and Jeff and so much about their personal lives because there's just so much to do, but we're all committed to that mission of trying to show everybody, hey, there is this whole nother part of the world. It doesn't have to be this way. So I'm fully in. Every day I push my chips in, and then I go, man, I got to get more chips to push in because it's just, it's like Odell's got the saying, he's bullish on Bitcoin, but he's more bullish on Bitcoiners, and you guys prove that. Yeah, it's so I'm happy to be here.
Thanks. Hey guys, I'm Zach Herbert. I'm a CEO and co-founder at Foundation Devices. So we manufacture a Bitcoin hardware wallet called Passport. Actually, we manufacture in the New England area, which I think is pretty cool. And we have a mobile app as well called Envoy. But basically, we're trying to lower the barriers to becoming a sovereign individual, is how I like to say it. I think Bitcoin is kind of at an inflection point. I was reading a blog by, I'm sure some of you guys ever like Epsilon Theory. It's like Bitcoin with like a capital B or lowercase b, as in, is it going to become a financialized type thing, or is it going to become something that we all self-custody and hold ourselves? And so I'm hoping that by the time the next bull market comes around, there can be better tools to self-custody so that we can get all these new people coming in and actually storing it themselves instead of going through the exchanges first. So that's what we're focused on. We got we've raised some venture money. We got over 15 people now across the world, and hoping we can do a lot more manufacturing in the Boston area too, and support the local ecosystem however we can. And I live in Woburn, not too far away.
My name is Brian Hartford. I am a platform engineer working on some open source projects, trying to find purpose in the Bitcoin ecosystem and help to organize the Boston Bitcoin meetup. And it has been a tremendous journey to be able to mingle with so many people of different backgrounds and experiences, and find myself in situations that I probably would not have just kind of continuing along the path that my life was on. It's been a privilege to meet all these people, and it's been really inspiring as well. Thank you for having me.
Glad you're here. Hey guys, my name is Connor Chepnick. Kind of one of the jokes of my family is that I've always been able to find something and get super passionate about it and then put it to the side. Growing up, Yu-Gi-Oh cards, Pokemon, skateboarding, and quickly you get over those things. And then in 6th grade, I found football, and I played that for 11 years. And just the bond you make and that outlet to kind of get some of that testosterone out was something special. But then in 2020, I graduated, and I just felt like I had this massive hole in my heart. I wasn't sure what I was going to do next. I got a stimulus check in the mail, and something just went off in my head. Something is deeply wrong with the world right now. As awesome as this is, I know this makes absolutely no sense. So started going way more down the Bitcoin rabbit hole and stopped viewing it as just number go up technology, something fun to invest in. And I went so far down the rabbit hole that I decided to come to a meetup. I met some of the awesome guys here like Greg and Jeff and many others. And I've been a part of a lot of football teams in my life, and I've never found such a tight-knit, close-knit group of guys who are willing to put their life on the line to create a better world. And actually just had a kid 4 days ago. And
Congrats.
And I'll tell you, it just makes me want to double down and go even harder, because this truly is, like you said, it's Bitcoin or slavery. So I'm all in, and I'm so grateful to be a part of something like mass adoption, building something special here.
My name's Phil. First, I just want to thank Jeff and Greg. I just met these guys just a couple weeks ago, and already the collaborations, the projects, the building. They say bear markets for building. We're all here to build something great, and the things that are going to come from this meeting and all the other meetings that we're having, I'm just so bullish on Bitcoin and so bullish on Bitcoiners, like you said. You know, stay humble, stack sats. Odell has a lot of sayings like that. But, you know, I'm a school teacher in the fiat world, and I'm trying to slowly educate the youth about Bitcoin. They're very curious about it. They're going to adopt it really quickly. I also work for a Bitcoin-only company now. It's only been 6 months since I started with them. It's a brand new company called Satoshi's Journal. And we're growing adoption in Nigeria. We're building a Bitcoin village there based off of Bitcoin Beach in El Salvador. We're having a Bitcoin conference there at the end of March. And I just want to involve all of you guys in that in some way or form. And I'd love to talk to you guys more about it. Thank you for the time. And yeah, keep stacking sats.
My name is Mike Leftakis. I'm here on behalf of River Financial. We're sponsoring the event tomorrow, or the meetup tomorrow. So we're just happy to be partnering with this organization. Jeff missed meeting today. Thanks, Greg, for setting this up. My first time here meeting everyone. I've been in Boston for about 3 hours. I feel like I have 3 weeks of conversations already. So this has been awesome. And you know, I like to think of Bitcoin as, like, you know, not just the asset itself, but also the movement. And these types of organizations and these conversations make me appreciate the movement just as much as Bitcoin as technology. So happy to be here, happy to talk about River, Bitcoin tomorrow. I'll see all of you guys tomorrow. We can sort of dig in deeper, but thanks for